Well, today we have with us one of my dearest friends. I love him so much, from the famed Three Dudes Farm. And his name is Brett Chisholm. And Brett is my Renaissance man. There is nothing Brett Chisholm can't do. You want art, I can sculpt that. You want photographs that are worthy of the Smithsonian, oh, I can do that. And then he started his passion for flowers, and then now does will you tell us everything?
Yeah, tell us
Yeah.
everything, Brett.
Well, we started a flower farm. I've been like wholesaling foliage to like some florist friends, and we garden a ton on the side, and so I started getting a lot more into flowers, and we decided to start a subscription program last year. And I was not expecting near the reaction that we received when we started it. I was looking for a way to like offset some of like the expenses of my hobbies in life, and I didn't know that it would be able to turn into what it is. And so it's just really exciting. It's very exciting. Today is our very first day of deliveries for the season. And so we sent out 25 bouquets in the Sprinter van, and it's mostly throughout Houston today. And then tomorrow there's 30 deliveries in College Station, and away we go.
What all are you growing? What all's in your spring bouquet?
Gosh, we're really growing everything right now. It's like a transition time right now because, we're ending some things from like that were overwintered and like really do well in the spring. Like last week I cut like the last snapdragons, and so they're out. And so we have a few things that are still like holding on for the spring, but we're moving into summer stuff. Like right now, the very first gladiolas are opening. And that's like
Sunflowers was kind of your original signature,
Oh
right?
yeah, we probably grow. I'll show you these gladiolas right here. We probably grow 20 different kinds of sunflowers.
Wow.
And there's
I didn't know there were 20 different kinds.
I know. Well, so there's each one of them like is a little bit more difficult than like a standard sunflower, and so for commercial purposes, they're just not going to do it. Because pennies add up to a lot when you're talking about like $1 billion industry.
I wish airlines would figure that out.
Yeah.
Like something that you started just as a hobby, right, for fun to try to like pay for some of your other hobbies now seems like a full-fledged 24/7 business that you have to prioritize all your time for.
I have 4 employees.
And a lot of ducks.
I know, I'm trying to walk away from the duck.
But I feel like we've all kind of watched some people do a little take on the DIY at home bakery in the kitchen, and people who are doing the sourdough and the starters, and kind of more of that farm to table lifestyle that people are trying to reemerge themselves in to provide not only for their families, but just have, I think maybe COVID helped facilitate that too. It's like, I want to invest more time in me or my family or what we're doing to create something that has a beautiful impact or give back. Like, what kind of undertaking has this really truly been for you to now be at a place where you're fulfilling this kind of subscription? And probably far more successful.
Just the first week.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not really delivering flowers. And I think that's like a whole thing that I've understood from the beginning, but people like on the outside haven't, but these subscribers do. Like this is an experience. This is a experiment, farmers don't connect with customers anymore. It doesn't happen with like vertical integration. There is so many barriers to entry to small farmers, first generation farmers, underrepresented groups of farmers. It's just really hard to do. And so I thought it's not entirely reinventing the wheel, but it was like, if I can connect directly to consumers, I can charge less than they're going to get from a florist. I can make more than a farmer makes when they have to undercut wholesale to a wholesaler. And like, it actually might be a business model that we can make succeed. And really, I think that just as you mentioned, like what really, I feel like what has happened is that people are ready for connection, you know? And
Right.
I think that it's lacking so much. And so one thing that is shocking to me, and maybe we weren't like, maybe I was a little rigid on the fact that it's like, you don't really get to pick your delivery time. You have to be a bit flexible because that's how it works for us. We put you on a route. Like, it's not like, oh, I'll see you Thursday at 2. We'll tell you within the window when it works. But 90% of our customers work from home, and I feel like that is a thing, is that like they're lacking connection in certain ways, and then it also starts to affect your mental health, and that's something that I've been like incredibly honest about, and I feel like a little bit vulnerable. I have an email list that goes out like twice a week, and I would say that I overshare on that list, but I'm trying to give people an experience, and I'm trying to let them learn and live through the experience that I'm having. And I feel like, you know, I noticed and I've learned so much growing flowers that really like affected my turnaround, I'm a control freak, and like you can't be a control freak in the garden. And I started to learn how to appreciate the now, the today, what's happening today, what am I doing today for tomorrow, but today's the one that's the most important. And there's so many metaphors for that type of stuff that come out of the garden, and I really think that that's a lot of what people are like latching on to. And then I'm very honest with them, and I think it's something that people, want to do, where it's like the only reason we can do the things that we're doing is because these people have supported us, like because they're
Right.
supporting a local business. And so it's like, that's how we got to buy a Sprinter van. That's how we have 4 employees. That's how, like, these things are rolling and moving forward, is because like they are joining with us, and so it's really like creating this like kind of family experience of that, where it's like this is a journey, you and me together are on a journey, and my hope is like that I inspire people to like grow something and grow themselves, and also just like learn how to surround yourself in joy, because that's what I feel like flowers bring, and I think so many people have these like these visceral memories tied to flowers from family or from their youth or from an experience or an event or something like that, and those are good things, those are things I feel like we should foster in our lives. And I think that the vehicle to do that I've stumbled upon is flowers. It's something that we can share a common interest in, and that's enough, And there aren't so many things these days that are totally like that. A lot of times now we like find commonality through division, through what we're mad at, through what we don't like. And we don't even have to ask those kind of questions when we're just like vibing in the garden. You know what I mean?
It's true. Like my mom is going to eat this up
I know.
because
I was thinking
she's
the same thing.
she's very much like that immersive gardener. Is like that becomes her happy place. Is just take me
Yes.
away and let
Yes.
me be one with the earth and get the dirt under my fingernails.
Yep.
But it to watch somebody else have that experience is it is very inspiring. I think. And I've watched now. Like my sister now has all these raised garden beds, and
Mm-hmm.
you're watching this younger generation care about even the bees. I mean, the
Yes.
bees and
Yes.
how they're thriving or not thriving is a
Things we never
huge
thought about.
topic.
Yeah.
Right. And, what are you doing with that front yard of beautiful grass when you could actually have a living garden
Mm-hmm.
in your yard
Yep.
that's not only providing you food, but giving back to
Mm-hmm.
the insects? And it's becoming a topic that hasn't been talked about probably heavily for the last 20 years the way it needed to be. But I feel like there are people like you. And tell us even about what you've done with rescue.
Well, so yeah, we have that's part of the reason why it's like was hoping to figure out some kind of thing around here that could offset costs, because we have a whole
Sustain.
bunch of like of rescue animals all around here, and it actually all kind of goes together. I really feel like this is the culmination of so many like journeys that I've been on, one of which would be, rescuing animals. Because I used to say for like 10 years straight, when people would ask me what I did, I would joke and say I'm a poop farmer, because that's honestly the only product of my animals. Like many of the horses, you don't even ride, all they do is eat and they poop. And I nerded out like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago on compost. I have these
I
like four
remember.
foot, like, yeah, right, 4 foot thermometers. I'm like making good compost. And so, once we really started doing that and then we're growing on our own, it's like we have so many ways. I started this, I put $600 into this business in November and then never looked back, because we have the compost for the soil. We have the space where we're digging, doing the plants. We've collected seeds from years past. And so like it just like really felt like the everything placing together.
And then how many customers do you already have?
We have
Evolving every
like
month?
395 customers. Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane to me.
It's
But
really
it's
exciting,
kind of like
you know?
it's bringing back that friendly face to like your milkman delivery.
Yeah, that's
It's
Exactly.
kind of what
yeah
it's
you're
like. And I keep saying that it's like, I feel like, and even if like you don't totally buy into it, that's fine. Like it's important for me. And I feel like
That's
that's
fine.
what is also kind of working really well in my favor, is like I found something where I can be me and I can be unique. And, like some people might truly just be in it for the flowers. But I get, when I send an email out to the email, I probably get 7, 8, 9 responses every single time. And I
Wow.
think, like it's
Engagement is
because
everything.
it's because things resonate, like it absolutely
right.
resonates. And so I like to say, like, I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to be joyful in this garden. I have a responsibility to infuse all of that in these blooms, so that that's really there for you. Like, if you believe in like energy transfer and stuff like that, I think people are relying on these blooms. Maybe not everybody. They just think, oh, it's pretty, or maybe I want to support a local business, or shit, maybe they're even like, I want to support a gay farmer in Montgomery. You know what I mean? But because there's some of those who've said, this is why I'm doing it. You don't even have to bring me the flowers, And I'm like, well, we're going to. But it's like, I think there's a lot of people that are like, have hope around the flowers. It's like, I really hope it's not like a Christmas morning kind of thing, because people are understanding, like, they want something to do that. And then I think it's like giving some normalcy, like I'm a little extra with some of the things, like in ways that I'm just on the
No.
nose, like about stuff. And I think it lets people know, like, okay, like I'm not the only one that is like searching for meaning when that happens, like, or I'm not the only one that is, whatever. And I think that's just like a cool space to be in. I feel like
I want to come
I'm
I want to
thriving.
come bring KK. We want to intern for a
Yes,
week and just
yes,
get some of that joy
yes,
off the land. What?
absolutely,
You gonna get
absolutely.
out there and plant some flowers,
So one of
Kristi?
my most
Manual
like
labor.
successful, this was in the very beginning, and I'll tell you, I feel like it was a turning point in like the way I just leaned into stuff. So I started practicing a lot of like grounding, like when I'd be really stressed out, like I just go outside barefoot and walk on the ground. And like I feel like even if it's just the intention, like it's kind of setting my energy. And so I did once, when this started going, and like, I mean, I think I had 100 subscribers by Christmas. And the
Okay, so we had a little setback because you got overheated out on the land.
right, exactly, exactly.
Your device got overheated, not you.
So, okay, take us back to the conversation about grounding.
When this was all heating up so much, and I've got like so much nervous energy running through, but like exciting, positive energy, I would go out and I was like practicing grounding in the field where we were going to be planting all of these flowers. Because I thought, this is going to be a very stressful time, and like I'm gonna need to pick back up. It was like I'm gonna put all this good feeling energy into the earth, and then like I'll visualize like getting it back up. And so that happened for me once. Like there was a moment where I was like, oh my God. And like I just like took my shoes off and I went outside and I just felt like I was receiving all of that back. So I wrote an email to the subscriber base, and this was really, God, I mean, I think this was probably in November, you know, it was very, very early. And I felt like I was oversharing and I felt like it was a little bit weird, you know, like in a little hippie. And then I even went extra because not only was
No,
I
not you.
grounding,
You didn't go extra.
I know, but it's like I was vibing with music and everything always in the field, and it's just like I'm visualizing this. And so like I put this picture in the email of me dancing in the field and I'm
I
talking
remember
about
that. I got
grounding
that
and how
email.
important it is. Yes, and so like, you know, I got an incredible amount of reaction from that email when I virtually had no email list. And it turned out to be, and I don't even ask people to buy, but there is a link at the bottom of the email to our website. It turned out to be my most profitable single email.
Wow.
You know, like, and so I felt like that was an indicator of the path to take, like with this journey. And it just seems to be like validating itself.
And so you have a subscription based service that every
Yes.
week people will get fresh flowers.
So right now we only have monthly subscriptions left.
Oh,
We had a few weeklies, then we did bi-monthlies, but now that the season has started, there's only like a few monthly subscriptions that there's left for this year. It's crazy.
So that was kind of going to be my next question is, without knowing exactly what you were building, how many acres of flowers did you start with?
Well, we've expanded 3 times in our field. Like we started with about a half acre, and we're on to about an acre and a half now, which is a lot for flower farming because we plant really close. You know, we plant pretty much everything about 6 inches apart because it doesn't really go through full bloom cycles. You know, like we're cutting early, we're doing that type of stuff, and then it also like crowds out weeds. And so anyway, it's a large undertaking, and watering that much and maintaining that much.
And has it all been like a learn as you go process, or did you have a fair amount of knowledge that you had acquired over your years of having land that you were like, I know what I'm doing, kind of?
So, I mean, there's been some learn as we go this year because every year is so different. And it's like all of a sudden we're back in a rainy season and we lived here for 10 years in a drought, you know, like, and so there's a lot of those things. One time we transplanted all these plugs that we bought and we got one of these 6-inch rains this spring. And I mean, I was out there like trying to hold them in place and catch them as they're rushing down the thing. So then we had to dig a huge relief through the middle of the property so that we can guide the water away from the flowers, you know. I'd say that was probably one of the biggest learning things because we lost a whole row of transplants, you know. And that's just like,
that's
whoa.
heartbreaking.
You seem to be somebody like me that, okay, well, now I've done this and it's gone so well. Wait, what's next? So are you thinking like you're going to have beehives, you're going to start doing jams and jellies for people? Like, where are you taking this?
We do have bees, but so one of the things that I'm probably going to do is expand the product line. So the reason I got into this was to move our screen printing business from dogs to a farm brand. And I thought, I'll do a flower farm to like validate the farm brand, you know, just make it official that I sell to florists. And there we go. Well, now like that screen printing supports this. Like we take gifts to the subscribers, we print farm stuff, like there's exclusives for that. Anyway, we'll probably expand that as we get our presence known as 3 Dudes Farm so that we have like some farm branded products. But what I really, really want to do is I want to build a center that is like a members only farm country club basically. And once you're a member, you get access. Once you have a subscription membership, you have access to this. And there'll be a learning center. There will be growing fields. There will be artist cottages.
It sounds like a big Pinterest board.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and it's like, it's basically like a modern, feel good about it, like hippie commune aspect where it's like, you come here because this is where you come to experience joy. You come here because this is where you come to be,
And I can
and
see
you
some great
learn while
guest
doing it. You
speakers.
help people while doing it. Yes, and you connect with people that you maybe wouldn't connect with outside of this space, and it feels good, And then once we do that, I want to teach other farmers how to do it. I think that one of the biggest parts of that, I have a lot of flower farming mentors that are really helping me through the flower part of this, because there's hardly any of them that know what to do with marketing. And I feel like that's kind of a travesty, because farmers have the most story, like they have the most opportunity to engage with people. And
Right.
so, I want to be able to teach people how to market, how to make a community, how to connect with that community. Because the thing that's crazy is farmers at a farmer's market have to sell their stuff for the lowest price,
Right.
period. Then you have people like Butcher Box who sell farmers' goods as though it's coming from the farmer directly, for top dollar. And it's only because those people know how to market it,
Right.
and we need to teach those farmers how to do that, because they could be making a living in 2024 with people who want to A, support it if they have the money, and B, who want the connection, who want the experience. They could do that, but they don't know how to do that, so they buy it from Butcher Box thinking that they're
Right.
supporting the
Right.
farmer, but they're just getting wholesale, like it's not, it's really not a sustainable model for the farmers. And so
And I think
I want to
after
change.
COVID, I think a lot of people realized, that me going to buy at a big box store is a lot different than me supporting my neighbor that maybe he,
Yes.
he has got beefing his own cattle and selling
Yep.
the steak.
Yep. Yep.
You're farming the florals and delivering.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's
Mm-hmm.
kind of doing their own thing, and I think people are appreciating. Farmers markets really turn that around
Uh-huh.
for the mom and pop.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, Brett, I have a friend back home in Iowa, and she's just, I feel like, started doing this like the last 8 to 10 months. But she's got a young family. She wants to be at home with her children, so she started cooking these meals and
Uh-huh.
offering like food meal delivery to the town, and like, hey, these are the options I'm making this week. Who wants to partake? Somebody locally in the community just came back and reported her because she didn't have like the cottage license for but it's like,
Police.
but people doing great things to rebuild the community and engage with people that you're going to run into at the post office or at the grocery store, and saying, hey, like, here's what I have, this is what I'm doing. And if we don't do more of what you're doing, Brett, and instilling it again, I'm sure your son is a huge influence for
Yes.
you, of like, what am I teaching this next generation of young people that are going to be here to live on this land, cultivate it, be a part of the
Yes.
community. We're going to pack up and head your way shortly. Come out and see what's
Yes.
happening on the farm. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Mwah. Big
Thank you,
kiss.
Brett.
I love you.
Bye.
Say goodnight, Lucy.
Bye.
Good night, Lucy.